To today's edition of the new ASTRO for the month of November. So I'm here, of course, with my co-host, Meg Moonbeam. I'm Julie from Maison Jupiter, and I'm very happy to be with you because we're going to be talking about all the crazy energies for the month of November with the astrology. Hi, Meg. How are you?
I'm very good. Very happy to be here with you all. Happy Halloween. Happy belated Samhain. It's a magical time for us to be doing the Astro Woo.
Yes, and you're in a very magic location too. So I think we're going to be having a lot of high frequencies from where you are. So that's really cool.
Yes.
Did you have a nice Samhain or birthday celebrations?
I had, yes, very nice, very magical. I've been having one of those times where you have like a lot of synchronicities going on, just one after the other, and really magical events. So that's been the whole past few days for me since my birthday on the 30th. And then yesterday, Samhain was my exact solar return. And
Wow.
then today, being in Glastonbury, it's been a lot of synchronicities, interesting events. We went up to the Glastonbury tour, which is the heart chakra of the world today.
Wow.
And as soon as we got up, there was a huge storm that started, and we're like high up on a hill. And we had to go into the tour, which isn't totally closed off, with these winds that I've never felt before in my life. It was like a little bit scary, but I feel like we got a huge cleansing and just crazy stuff going on like that. So sending all the heart chakra energy out to everyone.
Thank you. Very appreciated. And a very happy belated solar return to you, Meg.
Thank you.
And did you look at, well, I guess you did. Did you look at what your solar return looked a little bit like? And were you in Glastonbury at the moment of your solar return?
I was in Avebury, which is the largest stone circle in the world.
Wow.
And so I was doing all that intention setting and doing a little ceremony for the solar return there. And yes, I've looked at my solar return, and I've got Venus trine Uranus exact, which I think is really cool,
It is very cool.
and a 10th house stellium. So going to be working hard.
Okay, so it's going to be a big year for you.
Yeah.
Well, that's great news for all of us. Thank you so much for sharing. And of course, if you'd like also to have your solar return done, Meg is able to look at your chart and look for your specific birthday and the year to come. So if you would like that, you can book a 1-year personal forecast with Meg, and she can look either at the 2024 year or also your solar return if it's coming soon also. And of course, there's also the birth chart astrology reading also available if you want to book a one-on-one consultation with Meg. And don't forget to enter Beyond Mystic in one word to get 10% off your next reading. That's on maisonjupiter.com. And also, I wanted to say, that's not the screen I wanted. Thank you for watching us. We are simulcasting on the Maison Jupiter YouTube channel today, also on the Beyond Mystic YouTube channel today. So if you are watching from there, please leave us a like if you do enjoy this kind of content. It really helps us. And also we are simulcasting to Rumble, to Beyond Mystic's Rumble. So we'll be looking at the comments from the Rumble side, but also on the YouTube side. So thank you for being here with all of us. We really appreciate you. And we will be having a gift for one of you lucky supporters for today's show. And it is going to be the fire candle. So this one right here, it is the Beyond Mystic Element Collection on maisonjupiter.com. And those are handmade candles by the amazing Elena. And this one, the fire candle, is tobacco vanilla. So a very warm scent. I think it's like perfect for this month, and it's getting colder. It's snowing where I am right now near Montreal. So I felt like we needed something warm and cozy. So this is the perfect candle for it. And it is infused with a tiger eye crystal. So that's what we have for one of you supporters today. And Livy's saying, Meg, you keep traveling to all my favorite places. Amazing. Thank you for being here. Hello, Chelsea. Hello, Gypsy Mama. Nice to see all of you here. And okay, before we dive, should we do let's do the important dates first for the month of November, and then we'll pull some cards for the general energies. So let's look at the dates. So I made a slide here for the important dates of November, so you can screenshot it if you wish. We'll talk briefly about those dates, and then we'll get into more specifically the new moon, which we're going to have in November, on November 13th. I was going to say 30th, 13th. And November 27th, we will have a full moon in Gemini. So both are going to be kind of intense. So we're going to talk about those specifically right after the slide. But first, November 3rd, we're going to have the Sun opposes Jupiter and Venus opposes Neptune. What do you think of that particular aspect, Meg? Do you think it's a good date for specific things, that November 3rd date?
For November 3rd, I think we can definitely have some confusion November 3rd with the Sun opposite Jupiter, Venus opposite Neptune. You know, Neptune can be confusion, disillusionment. Venus is our love life and our values and our money even. So I would say November 3rd and also maybe November 4th. Don't make any really big, crazy decisions if possible. And don't take anything personally that's going on, because we may not be seeing things completely clearly. Would you say the same? Or?
Yeah, 100%. Very well said. I think it's great to delay any, let's say, misunderstanding. Maybe try to wait a little bit before having a communication or making an important decision. But also, I think a lot of people are going to be happy with that Saturn turning direct on November 4th. Because look at what house is being ruled by Saturn in your chart. There are two of those. So the house that rules Capricorn and Aquarius. So those two houses are going to start moving forward again in your birth chart. So I know there's a lot of people that I've been waiting for a little bit more movement maybe in some aspects of their lives. So that's going to be a good one. But as you're saying, it's kind of close to November 3rd. So maybe wait a little bit after November 4th. And then a great date for finances. And if you have like big financial decisions to make, November 6th is a good date, generally speaking, because Venus is going to be trining Pluto. Both are financial planets. It's great for romance also. So a good date here to circle in your calendar. And then we step into the more intense energies of November. So we have November 11th, Mars opposes Uranus. Okay, let's start by this one, Meg. What do you think about Mars opposes Uranus and then the new moon in Scorpio briefly?
Yeah, well, it is intense because we're going to have Mars in one of his home signs of Scorpio this month, opposing Uranus still in Taurus, where it's been for a while, I think 2018, which is the most unstable place to have Uranus. So that's going to be shaky November 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th for sure. And it's interesting that we're going to have that Mars opposite Uranus with the new moon in Scorpio. And that new moon, is we're going to show in the charts, is going to be conjunct Mars. That's going to be opposite Uranus. So I think there's actually going to be positive, but also challenging with that aspect in that new moon. But that's a day to mark your calendars for. It's not going to be boring.
For sure. Yeah, we're going to see more specifically in the astrology, but I think a lot of unexpected news and things could come up with that Uranus opposition. Uranus is usually a bag full of surprises and drastic changes. So this is going to be interesting. And then on November 18, we have Sun conjunct Mars. So what do you think about this one, Meg?
Sun conjunct Mars. Well, whenever we have anything conjunct the sun, we call it a cazimi. So I feel like this is interesting because we don't have Sun conjunct Mars as often as we have like a Sun conjunct Mercury. So I think it's pretty special when it happens. And this is going to be, you know, Mars is about action, and he's going to be in one of his home signs. So this is empowerment, action, being bold, moving forward. And there's going to be a really cool aspect exact on November 18th during the Sun conjunct Mars, which is Mars in one of his home signs of Scorpio trine Neptune in his home sign of Pisces. So I feel like this is powerful on all levels, physically, mentally, and spiritually, because Mars is very physical and Neptune is very spiritual. So I think that's a day of major breakthroughs. If we utilize that energy, we see where it's falling in our chart. I think we can have really big breakthroughs and actually taking action. That's a good day to actually
Yeah,
take some kind of action that we need to take because it's Mars.
definitely. We'll have a lot more energy, I'm guessing, and motivation to take action. Yeah,
Mhm.
you sum it up really well. And then on November 22nd, we're going to have the sun moving into Sagittarius. So it's going to be Sagittarius season from November 22nd onwards. And before that, I forgot to say, we're in Scorpio season right now until November 22nd. And then on November 25th, we're going to have Mars square Saturn. So this is where it gets a little bit more difficult. And then the full moon in Gemini, which is a tough one. It's going to make a T square to Saturn. We're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. So I think it's going to get, and as you said, I think you summarized it pretty well at the beginning. I think it might be a challenging month, but also a lot of good things could also happen, mixed
Mhm.
with surprises with their Uranian energy. So could we pull some cards, maybe Meg, for the general energies of the month of November? How are we going to deal with those energies? What's going to
Definitely. How are we going to deal with these energies? Interesting. Okay. So I just got this new deck called The Wisdom of Avalon that I just got here in Glastonbury. So I'm
happen?
going to pull from that. Okay. This is really interesting. So the first card we got is Joy. And right away, this made me think about an experience that I had today where I just shared earlier, where when we were on top of the Glastonbury tour, a storm came and we were in a storm at the top of this very tall hill. And you have two options when you're going through a challenging situation is to have a freak out,
Mhm.
right? Or to play with the energy, joy, or to just kind of stand strong and move forward with it. So I feel like this card is saying it's going to be a little bit rocky, but we can get through it a lot easier if we have joy and a sense of play, even though it's rocky waters. Even though there's crazy things going on in the collective, we can, with Saturn in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces, it's very easy to have freakouts, paranoia, confusion, heavy disillusionment. Like, and I notice a lot of people going through that right now. It's important for us to we have to actively be in the joy. It's not like one of those times where, oh, we've got 5 planets in Leo and we've got all good aspects. It's not like a natural energy. It's where we're kind of in a bit of a storm, but we
Yeah.
can still have fun and play with it, if that makes sense. So we have to actively make joy in life. And then we got focus and the mystery. So this is interesting because most of these cards have like gods or goddesses of Avalon or like the animals or whatever.
Really
So
cool.
we've got 3 cards that are all words. So I feel like that's meaningful. Joy, focus, the mystery. So focusing on the magic and the mystery is also going to help us get through this. Part of that disillusionment, I think a lot of people are going through with the Pisces energy, is their disconnection from the mysteries of life and the magical side of
So
things.
true. So true.
So, and it can seem when there's really horrible things in the world, sometimes we think, how can there be, spirituality, or how is there life after death if there's such horrible things that happen? But it's part of the soul's growth. It's, not everything is just love and light. So looking at being connected to the great mystery and focusing on what do we want to create for ourselves. I keep feeling like if you're out there and you're listening to this and you're feeling down, you're not feeling good mentally, actively do something to bring you into this. Because it's not just going to happen out of nowhere. That's what it's feeling like for me.
It makes a lot of sense. And
Mhm.
you know what, like, I received like a message from my guides is like, we've been waiting so long for things to move ahead. And now I think it's finally happening. So we might be like, oh my God, everything's happening at the same time. But actually we should be grateful for movement and for and maybe it's going to appear like it's not going better in the world situation. But as your cards are saying, with the mystery and staying in a joy frequency, I think people here are going to understand that there's a lot more than what's being presented officially. So we have to, parallel to what's going on in the world and the perceived situation, there's a lot of spiritual growth and there's a lot of downloads, and we are really moving at a fast pace at the moment. So I really
Mm.
love those cards and those messages. Thank you so much, Meg, for that. Okay, we're gonna move to the first new moon that we're gonna have in the month of November. So this one feels a little bit like both. I'm gonna say both of the lunations during the month of November feel kind of bit of eclipse like. So I feel we're definitely in that post eclipse phase where it's still pretty intense. There's still a lot of changes happening around us and in our personal lives, and we're still dealing with the very strong energies of the eclipses. So let's not also forget that they're behind us, the eclipses, but we're still let's say learning how to deal with all the consequences of what those eclipses moved in the collective and in our lives. So this is the chart for the November 13th Scorpio new moon. And I thought it was kind of interesting to show you the chart before I show you the slide that I made, because I want to show you how close this Mars is to this new moon. So we have the sun and the moon because it's a new moon in Scorpio, and Mars, the traditional ruler of Scorpio, is also conjunct this new moon. So it's bringing a lot of strength, also a lot of let's say rebellion type of energy, wanting to change things. Mars in Scorpio especially is a big rebel energy. And look at that, how precisely or almost precisely it's opposing this Uranus wild card. So an opposition is like usually something coming from the outside in your life. So you're kind of confronted to something unexpected, and we have to take action, Mars. So
Mm.
this is kind of basically how I'm seeing it, and I'd love to also listen to what you have to say about this new moon, Meg. How do you feel about this
Yeah, it's a little bit scary, to be honest, to see so much in Scorpio
Yeah.
opposite Uranus. So that's a little bit like, okay, we got to be aware of that. But also at the same time, I actually kind of like it because with it almost being a cazimi, Mars is almost exactly conjunct the moon, the sun. This is action and it's in a home sign. So Mars is where he likes to be. He's not in an uncomfortable place. Uranus is in an uncomfortable place. He's not where he likes to be. But I think a way we can work with this moon is I think it's an amazing new moon to not only set some intentions and do some manifestation work, which we do during the new moons, but to actually take action,
Yeah.
Mars, as to what it is we're wanting to create. And that can maybe offset some of the, like you were saying, shocks, surprises, like more challenging, unexpected things coming up with Uranus opposite the moon. But there is definitely in the collective, I think, something shocking that maybe from the creepy crawly side of life, if you will, some really strange information coming forward because Scorpio rules secrets and things that are hidden.
Yeah, good point. And also, let's not forget, it's all happening in the financial axis. So there could also be some very unexpected, drastic news about finances in the world. And I saw a comment from Lillian is saying, how will the new moon in Scorpio affect in 8th house Leo? So stay tuned, because right after we talk about the new moon and the full moon, we'll go through the 12 zodiac signs, and we'll give you the precise predictions for all the 12 zodiac signs. So stay tuned. It's going to be in just a moment. And last thing I wanted to bring up is that the other ruler of Scorpio, which this new moon is in, Pluto, which is the modern ruler, is still squaring the nodes. during this new moon. So, and usually when we have a planet that's making a T-square to the nodes, it's kind of a crossroad position where we have important decisions to make. And especially this one is a new moon, so a new chapter, a new start with the planet of action. So I think a lot of people will have to make important decisions around this time. So let's look at the slide I made, and then Meg, if you have anything to add, please do so.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be exact on the 13th at 4:27 a.m. Eastern time. It is going to be a 20-degree Scorpio new moon, so a Scorpio degree on top of being in Scorpio with the ruler of Scorpio. So you can understand that there's a lot of scorpionic energy there. A very intense and scorpionic new moon conjunct its ruler. So we're going to feel this Scorpio need to change stuff, to bring all the dirt, all the stuff that's been swept under the rug, maybe more, let's say, in the light, because that's what Scorpio usually does. Also, we said you opposes Uranus, so unexpected events, news shaking up our sense of security, because it's opposing Uranus and Taurus, our sense of security. So it's going to shake us up a little bit. It could also trigger some drastic new beginnings because it's a new moon. But not necessarily negative, guys. It's just that sometimes, you have to make fast decisions and you're a bit overwhelmed and everything's kind of happening at the same time. So we just have to stay open and flexible, but I think it could also bring a lot of good things. And drastic changes and upheavals. And the good thing, I think you kind of mentioned, there's a silver lining to this new moon, trines to Neptune. So I think all the spirituality you can include in your life around this new moon, I think will be super positive. And I wrote, be like water and flow, accept change, be more flexible, and trust your intuition. So whatever decision is coming up in your life, meditate, Neptune, have a spiritual practice, connect with your higher self, your guides. And I think you're going to get the guidance you are looking for. And also it's sextiles, the other ruler, Pluto. So important actions and decisions, but it can be very positive. And also great for taking action with money, with banking, and cutting off toxicity and toxic relationships, which is very scorpionic in nature. Did you have anything to add to this new moon before we move to the other one?
Well, I think everything you said there was really great. Just want to emphasize again that it's a new moon in Scorpio at a Scorpio degree with, like you said, the traditional ruler of Scorpio, Mars, conjunct the moon. So this has got Scorpio written all over it. And Scorpio is transformation, empowerment, spiritual gifts, merging with others, death and rebirth, secrets, the hidden side of life. So these things are going to be very highlighted and apparent for us personally and with the collective as well. And I'm definitely going to predict, and it's not that hard to predict because there's so many things coming out right now information-wise, but some really unexpected information from the hidden side of things coming forward to then help us move forward, because it's a new moon, something we need to be aware of so that we can move forward.
Very good point. Thank you, Meg, for adding that. And talking about Scorpios, hi to Elena, who's watching us, who's a Scorpio like you. So let us know if you are also a Scorpio. And if that's the case, then happy birthday season to all the Scorpios. And very happy to have you amongst us because you guys are very intuitive. Usually your intuition is very, very on point. Okay, so now let's talk about the full moon that we're going to have at the end of the month on November 27th. That's a full moon in the sign of Gemini. So not going to lie, this is not going to be an easy one because as you can see on the chart here, the moon is here at 4-degree Gemini opposing the sun because it's a full moon. So there's an opposition. And as you can see, the sun is almost still conjunct Mars. So in this time in Sagittarius, so because we will be then in the Sagittarius season. So sun and Mars opposition moon, it can be a lot of emotional intensity, first of all, because the moon is more emotional. Sun and Mars is like our vitality, our drive, and also it can also bring some conflicts of any kind. And we have that, so this is an opposition T-squaring, so there's a point to this opposition, which is Saturn. So Saturn is kind of the apex of that T-square, which is at 0 degree. Pisces, it just turned direct at the beginning of November. So full strength in the sign of Pisces, 0 degree, being the point of that apex. So there's a lot of tension surrounding that planet of Saturn, I mean. And this full moon is in the sign of Gemini. So information, communication, social media. So in friends also, which is another friends and siblings also rules Gemini. So we might have a lot of responsibilities, restrictions, new rules, because it's Saturn is so emphasized during this full moon in Gemini. And whatever comes up in our personal lives, we will have to deal with it the Saturnian way. So being disciplined, trying to also take care of our health because it's in the sign of Pisces. So right away, I'm telling you, I'm having this big message from for the month of November to really stock up on vitamins and make sure you really boost your immune system as soon as the month of November starts. So as from now, because all this energy is in Pisces, and especially this T square, I think can make our immune system a little bit weaker. So we will need some more extra natural help to help this immune system. So start building it up, because I think it could also be another thing that we have so many things to and responsibilities to take care of that we don't necessarily take care of our health the way we should. How do you feel about that, Meg? And what do you see about this full moon in Meg? Wow, so off. Sorry, I'm
That's
really
okay.
better, but
No, it's okay. We're already, well, it's Saturn in Pisces at 0 degrees. So a lot of us are already, like you're kind of feeling, Julie, a little bit under the weather physically. So I couldn't agree more that take your supplements, drink good water. I know that's something we say all the time, but it's really, really important to be doing right now with Saturn in those critical degrees of Pisces this month. And also, Mercury, I find this interesting, which is the ruler of Gemini. So this full moon is going to be in the sign of Gemini on November 27th. Mercury will be in his fall sign of Sagittarius and square Neptune in Pisces exact. So this has got like confusion and illusions also written all over it. So there could be information, because as you were saying, Julie, Gemini is information, learning information, social media, communication, information that we're hearing that is not real, or something that's being projected onto us having to do with the health system or boundaries or laws, because Saturn is at a critical degree in the middle of that T-square, that maybe it's not something that is going to be as bad as it seems, but it could seem really, really intense in that moment, if that makes sense. So I would say just watch out for any information that we're receiving from, power structures around that time, and don't take it in like, okay, that's what it's going to be and we're going to have to deal with it. Just let this full moon ride out. Let's get out of the energy of it, and then we can look at what came up from that time. And I also think that because this moon is at a Cancer degree, 4 degrees, it's going to be even more emotional. Full moons are usually very emotional to begin with, but with it being at a Cancer degree, we can be feeling a lot more emotional than usual with this full moon. And also, I think there can be possibly intense, challenging family conversations coming up, release having to do with our families, because this full moon is at a Cancer degree, which rules families. Gemini rules communication. So just making sure also that we're communicating ourselves clearly, because with these kind of funky aspects with this full moon, some things can get lost in translation. We can say something that gets completely taken out of context or in another way. So just making sure we're being clear if we are going to have an intense conversation with someone,
yeah,
particularly family.
Well said. Yeah, I think this square with Mercury and Neptune could be a bit foggy and complicated. So, yeah, well said, Meg. I think we should definitely be wary of what comes out in the media and in the government structures at around that time. Probably there's going to be a lot, or maybe new restrictions also that are going to be really crazy. So let's not panic, because when the square dissipates, it can be turned back also. So let's just remember that joy card at the beginning that you pulled. Let's stay in that joy frequency.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the slide I made for the full moon in Gemini, that's on November 27th. So yeah, it can bring a lot of, on the personal side, constraints and heavy responsibilities, because that's usually what Saturn brings. Yes, we talked about the square, and also I noticed there's a lot of Pisces degrees at the time of this full moon. So we have Mercury at 24 degree, a Pisces degree. We have Neptune, and we have both of the nodes also at a Pisces degree. So there is probably going to be a lot of delusions, deceptions, fake information. So don't let yourself be I was going to say drawn, which is a very Piscean word, in those, let's say, illusions, because it's probably going to be step back, I'm thinking, after that.
Mm.
So scare tactics, I wrote, also rules, propaganda, disturbing information coming out from governments, institutions, and maybe also more censorship rules with social media. But it's probably going to be part of the movie, like Janine says, because of all those Pisces degrees in that square. But also, there's a good aspect to it. It's Mercury, which is the ruler of this full moon, sextiles Venus and the South Node together. So I think at the same time, there could be a lot of karmic sort of retributions also happening, maybe behind the scenes, of course,
Mm.
because we're gonna see like the illusions maybe come on the forefront. Uh, so that's what we have for the general predictions. And now we're going to step into the 12 zodiac signs. And just before we do so, I wanted to bring up the fact that we have still the astrology course, and it's not too late to register. It's the Astrology Foundations course on the Academy, and we are live every Friday. And if you can't make it, no problem. We are uploading the course, the classes in the course right after every week, so you can watch them at your own pace. And we are this Friday doing Gemini, so it's going to be the third zodiac sign, all about Gemini, all about Gemini placements, and all about third house placements. So not too late if you'd like to join us. And you can also, of course, watch the other classes that we've done earlier at your own pace, no rush. And you don't have to watch them in the right order. It's okay, because all the 12 zodiac signs are kind of standalone classes. So if you'd like to join us, that's on beyondmystic.academy. It's the Astrology Foundations course. We're having so much fun with that course. Like it's a cool journey. I'm really happy.
Yeah, I love seeing everybody's live comments when we're doing it, and we're sharing the information about each of the signs and the planetary placements, and people going, "Oh my God, that makes so much sense," or "I know this person with that." It's I love it. It's so much fun.
It's really when like astrology magic really start to happen, where you're like, oh my God, like it makes so much sense with the people around me and my own placements, and you can make a lot of connections then. So Amy's saying, I'm loving your astrology class, by the way. Thank you so much, Amy. Really appreciate that. We are having a lot of fun, and we are giving a lot of personal examples, because I think astrology should be experienced. So it's all about our personal lives. And Lakeside Laura saying, you ladies make this course fun. Thank you so much, Laura. Really appreciate it. And last one before, loving the interactive course. If anyone is looking for a sign to take the course, this is it. Oh, thank you so much, MW1111. I really appreciate it. And also, someone said earlier, we are on a 111 portal. So I think this is the sign we were looking for, if you were looking for a sign to start this astrology class. So join us. We are having a lot of fun there. Thank you, Lisa. Really appreciate it. Okay, so let's start. Let me change my my little icon here. We will start with Aries, and would you rather take the chart for the new moon or the full moon for?
Maybe the new moon?
Okay, perfect. I'll add that to the screen.
Awesome.
All right. So, what do you have for Aries for the month of November?
So for November, I think this is a very big month for Aries, sun, moon, or rising. For each of the, as we go through all the 12 signs guides, just to make sure you can listen to your sun, moon, or rising, but particularly putting an emphasis on your sun and your rising
Yeah.
readings. So for Aries, first of all, the Sun Mars Cazimi on November 17th is the same day as Mars in Scorpio trine Neptune in Pisces. And this is powerful because Mars is the ruler of Aries. So you can receive very special insights, renewed energy, and be inspired to take action on November 17th. That's going to be a special period for Aries, the days, couple days before of November 17th and after, where you can feel really fired up and passionate and download some new ways of doing things and take some big action. Also, strong intuitive insights and big personal transformation can happen with Mars in his home sign of Scorpio trying to Neptune, the planet of spirituality and intuition, in his home sign of Pisces. And that trine is going to be happening at 24 degrees of Pisces, which is a Pisces degree. So Aries, I think you guys can also, with that Cazimi on November 17th and the Mars trine at Neptune, be healing some really deep-seated issues, because Pisces can be really deep-seated issues spiritually or emotionally and also physically. So I think this is a really breakthrough period for you, the end of the month, sorry, the middle of the month. And also in the middle of the month, we have the new moon in Scorpio on November 13th is happening in your 8th house. So new moons are times of new beginnings and setting new intentions. And with this new moon in the 8th house, these are the areas of life of empowerment and merging with others, shared resources, hidden money, and the finances of hidden money, investments, transformation, healing, and renewal. So this is a really powerful new moon for you guys, Aries, because the 8th house is even kind of a sister house to you, because it's traditionally, well, not traditionally, it's Scorpio's house, which is your sister sign. So this is a big time of empowerment and releasing what no longer serves you and really starting something new, creating new intentions from your empowerment, and maybe starting something that has to do with someone else, which is interesting. Scorpio rules merged resources. Aries is self. So Aries knows how to be confident and do their own thing and be independent. That's the gifts of Aries. Sometimes they need to work on, being in relationship, whether that's in business or love, sharing resources, working together with people, getting, really, really close to people, even as an example. So paying attention to your relationships during that new moon as well. I think it's actually a really powerful new moon for the Aries. And I felt intuitively to say, take action, follow your passions, and just move forward. I was hearing Spirit say that for you, Aries. And the full moon in Gemini on November 27th is going to be happening in your 3rd house. This is a Gemini full moon activating your 3rd house of Gemini. So that's very interesting. And full moons are times of cleansing, release, and illumination. So the 3rd house rules your siblings, friendships, local community are highlighted, as well as how you communicate, conversations, important information, explaining things or understanding others, and documents are all ruled by the 3rd house as well. So I'm feeling like I'm going to tell you guys how it is with this full moon for the Aries. There could be a little bit of a tension with a friend or a sibling in particular, because Mars is going to be opposite this full moon, almost exact, and the moon is in your 3rd house. So just be sure, you guys, that you're communicating yourselves clearly and listening to others. Because you're Aries, so you guys speak your mind and you love to live in the moment, which I love about you guys, but just making sure we're not having a fight just for no reason. because the energies are going to be really amplified and intense with that full moon. So just being careful what you say to people. If they're in a sensitive space, it's a full moon. It could turn into a little bit of a fight or an argument, particularly with a friend or a sibling. But other than that, just watching out for that. This full moon is illuminating your third house. So there could also be something in your local community coming up. I would say a good way for you, Aries, to work with that full moon is to connect to your local community, maybe go to an event or a class in your local community, because third house rules that, or reach out to a sibling, talk to a sibling if there's one that you haven't talked to for a while, something that Gemini rules.
I love that. Great predictions for Aries. And now we're going to pull an oracle card for the general energies for Aries. Thanks, Meg, for that. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I love that. I'm going to show you guys. So I have the Divine Mother card for Aries for the month of November. So it says, you are safe, held, and supported. So I think it's beautiful because I feel like with all this, especially mid-month, the opposition to Uranus, which is going to probably shake a lot of our comfort zones and sense of security, it's kind of saying, Aries, you probably need to take action in some area of your life, and it's okay, and you're going to be okay, and you're safe and secure where you are. So I think this is all Aries need to know in order for them to move ahead and being fearless as usually as they are. So I'm loving this message for Aries. Perfect. So let's move on to our next sign. I'm just going to change this, which is Taurus. So of course you can listen for Taurus, sun, rising, or moon. And here we are. So for Taurus, first of all, on November 13th, we're going to have a new moon in Scorpio, and that's going to be in your 7th house. So like the message that came through when I was preparing this episode for Taurus was that there's a lot of passion, I think, that's probably going to unfold. So I think if you are a single Taurus, you can meet someone, a new love interest, while Scorpios that are in a relationship could open up a new chapter with their partner. And of course, Mars being so close to that new moon could be good or bad, because Mars could bring more arguments, conflicts, but also can bring a renewed sense of passion. So, and also good sex and passion, which is also Mars. So I think it could be very positive, but also Uranus is kind of a disruptive energy. So let's try to channel all this energy in a more, let's say, creational type of energy than maybe disruptive and conflictual. Also, something unexpected might come up and you will need to adapt quickly because of that Uranus energy that's opposing this new moon. It could also be regarding your finances or your partner's finances, or something you have pulled together with someone else that's in relationship to your finances. So maybe you'll have a quick decision to make. Maybe something else is coming up in the world. So just be prepared to adapt quickly, stay flexible, take action quickly if necessary. And also the trine to Uranus is happening in your 11th house. So ask for support and help from your friends or members of your community. If you need help, a trine is a really good support aspect. So if you are needing to have good advice, ask your friends or people that you are on the same wavelength with. And then on November 27th for Taurus, we will have a full moon in Gemini, and that's going to be in your 2nd house. So right here, 2nd house of finances. So a completion and maybe some rewards also regarding your finances might come up around this time. But also be ready, because this full moon is going to point to Saturn, which is right here in your 11th house. So there could be a lot of restrictions. Maybe you're going to feel restricted in your free speech. Saturn in your 11th house is like, you don't feel like you can say everything that you believe in, maybe to your friends, to your social group. Maybe you're going to feel unable to share your truth with those people for the, well, it's going to be just for the time being of around this full moon. And likely a new controlled situation will arise, maybe in the world, and you'll have to stay focused and anchored because of that T-square that's in your 11th house. So I'm thinking maybe something along the line of your finances and what's of value to you could be more the center focus of that full moon. So usually Taurus are really good at grounding and being in the present moment. So really use that quality to not get distracted with all the propaganda that's going on around that time. So hope that helps for Taurus. Meg, could we pull an oracle card or Lenormand card for our friends at Taurus?
Mm-hmm. And JC is here in the comments. Hello.
Nice to see you.
Okay, so for Taurus, what's the message for Taurus? Wow. The owl from the Avalon deck. And the keywords are deception and wisdom. So this is very, very powerful. Taurus, sun, moon, risings. When we've got the owl, there's something to be paying attention to. There's maybe something that we're not totally seeing clearly. And there may be a need for a little bit of protection. So that's interesting. But the owl is also like great wisdom. So like Julie was saying, the new moon is highlighting the 7th house, which is our committed relationships, and the 2nd house, which is our finances and our values. So paying attention to maybe how far you've come in those areas, or if there is going to be wisdom coming up for you in those areas. You're going to be getting wisdom, Tauruses, but also pay attention to what the energies that you're surrounding yourself with. That's a big one when we get that.
I love it. It's one of my spirit animals. I love the owl.
Oh, cool.
I wanted to bring up, JC was saying martial law. That kind of makes sense, especially for the new moon in Scorpio, because we got Mars conjuncting this new moon. And then with the other one, with the full moon, we're going to have Saturn in T-square with all this propaganda, fake news type of energy. So what do you think about that, Meg?
I feel like they may try to put something out there, maybe like that, maybe something else, but I don't see it lasting. I don't see it being something that's going to stay for a long time. I think they're trying to generate a lot of fear and amplify our paranoia. So I don't think it's going to last a long time if that does come up.
I very much agree with you. So now let's take a look at the Geminis. So prediction for the Geminis, sun, moon, rising for the month of November.
Yeah, so excuse me. So for Geminis, it's a big month with this full moon that's going to be happening in your sign, Geminis, on November 27th. But first, the new moon in Scorpio on November 13th is happening in your 6th house. So this is big new beginnings and breakthroughs. And I'm saying big because Mars is conjunct this new moon, which I think is a pretty big deal. So big new beginnings and breakthroughs regarding your day-to-day work, routines, and schedule, your organization skills, your physical health, mental health, and pets. If you have any pets, and it is a new moon, so maybe you're going to be getting a new pet. There could be some of the Geminis getting new pets or animals because 6th house rules pets. This is an amazing time for you, Geminis, to start a new health routine, to do a diet, to do a cleanse, to do some organizing, some looking at your schedule, budgeting, all those Virgo kind of 6th house things. And with Neptune in your 10th house, trining this new moon, I think this could be some of you Geminis starting a new spiritual or creative or healing art career, or maybe daily practice even with that Neptune in the 10th house trine the moon. This is a really good new moon, as I said, also to start a new diet or health routine. So some of you guys are going to start new careers that have to do with helping others, being of service to others, because that's what Virgo is, being of service to others and the healing arts. And the full moon in Gemini on November 27th is happening in your 1st house, because this full moon is happening in your sign. So you are highlighted. The 1st house is self and you. and being seen. So it's going to be hard for you not to be seen, Gemini suns and moons and risings, because this is a big one. So the first house is self and foundation, being seen, your physical body. You are going through a really big cleanse and renewal this full moon. So you're probably going to be feeling it, Geminis, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And I know Geminis, they're not the most sensitive sign out of all the 12 signs. Not to say that you guys aren't intuitive, because I think Geminis can be very intuitive, but you're probably going to be feeling more sensitive or emotional than usual with this full moon. This would be a great time to, maybe go to a spa or get an energy healing, because you guys are going through a big cleanse of things that don't serve you anymore. And with this full moon, anything that you need to release that's holding you back, because the first house is self, now is the time to do it. So it's a good time with this full moon to reflect on what is holding you back, Gemini, if there is anything, and be honest with yourself. And might be good, even though there's going to be a lot of attention on you, probably to maybe spend some time alone, which I would usually say to people if this moon would be happening in their 12th house, because 12th house rules isolation and being alone. But because you are highlighted in your needs, I would say it might be good to spend some time alone and be in your own energy, not everybody else's, because Gemini rules, socialization and other people around us. Come back into your energy and do a check-in with yourself.
Such good points. And I pulled some cards while you were talking, and they fell on the floor. And for Geminis, I have, very interestingly, the 6th house, so Virgo.
Mm.
And the new moon is happening in their 6th house. So this is the house of health, also work, as you said earlier. So I'm kind of feeling, with that digest subtitle of the card, I'm feeling a strong emphasis for Gemini to really make sure they have a good diet, a really good digestion, that you really take care of your health for the month of November. And then I have first house, which matches what you were saying about that alone time and focusing on yourself, your own needs. So really focus on your body and what it needs, and listen to what your body is telling you. And maybe also put yourself as a priority this month. I think Gemini is going to be a really good tip for you.
That's so crazy. You just pulled the 2 houses that they're having activated.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because the full moon is in the first house. Wow. So cool.
Mm.
Interesting. Okay. So strong energies for Gemini. Now let's talk about Cancer. I'm just going to switch my wheel over here. So Cancer. Here we go. So Cancer, sun, moon, or rising. So first of all, November 13, the new moon in Scorpio is going to be in your 5th house. So right here. So it's a really good house to have, I think, this new moon in. The 5th house is very light, joyful. So really matches with the card you had at the beginning, Meg, which was the Joy Oracle card. So I feel like a very passionate new start for a lot of Cancers, a new passion project, a new sport, a new hobby, or a new romance, even for some Cancers. And because of that Uranus opposition, I feel like it's going to appear coming from the blue, and it's going to be very developing very fast. So unexpected news coming from your friend circle, maybe coming from your entourage, your community. And it's going to push for this new start, which Mars is there. So you're going to have to take action, of course, but I feel like it's going to be very fast developing. So the universe is pushing you to recharge the energy and rejuvenate. The 5th house is everything that brings fun to you, everything that you feel recharges your battery, fills you up with joy, with fun. So I feel like this one is going to be very positive, generally speaking, for Cancers. And then on November 27th, we have a full moon in Gemini, and that's going to be in your 12th house. So that's a more tricky energy. 12th house has a lot to do with your immune system. Gemini is all about the lungs, and we'll have this full moon in your health axis. So like the message I gave for everybody to really, let's say, prep your immune system with a lot of vitamins, I feel like applies even more for Cancer, especially towards the end of the month. So make sure that you have a good health routine, you are staying disciplined. And let's not forget, Saturn is at the apex of that T-square during this full moon. So Saturn is like the king of having a disciplined routine and not, let's say, indulging too much and staying out of balance. So really make sure that you are putting this focus in your health. And you will probably feel this one a lot since the moon is your ruler and it's a full moon. So usually Cancers feel a lot the full moons. And this one is in your 12th house of completion and karmic endings. But I do feel like this Saturn in your ninth house is not going to be so bad, because ninth house is kind of the protected house to have Saturn in. So I feel like whatever comes up for you at this time, ask your guides and help for support and guidance, because the ninth house is all about asking for guidance and support from the universe. So know that you have, you can have any kind of guidance and help you ask for. And as we were saying, the full moon and the 12th house are such like completion energies. So I feel like a completion of some kind will likely happen for Cancers. Whatever it comes up, it's because it needs to be released. So just leave the space open for that. And also, as I said earlier, focus on your health, because it's going to be in your health axis. And also listen to your body, because I feel like this full moon could be bringing you a lot of messages during your sleep. 12th house. Meditation could be really good to diffuse this T-square energy in the ninth house and the 12th house. Probably the best practice for Cancers. And listen to the messages that your body is sending you. Just be careful for not overthinking, and especially because of that Neptune Mercury square that we're going to have at the moment of this full moon. And Gemini in the 12th house is kind of have this overthinking tendency. So don't panic, and try to have this practice, either breathing exercises as Gemini, and also meditation is a 12th house. So that could also be a really good thing to diffuse this strong energy for Cancers. And also, last message I got for you is maybe try to lower down your caffeine intake, because it's going to make your mind overthink. In the 12th house, Gemini is a very nervous, activated sign. Have a sleep routine and a healthy diet could be really good for Cancers for this month. Can we pull some cards for the Cancers, Meg?
Yes, for sure. Let's see what we get here for the Cancers. Okay, interesting. So we've got the Serpent, knowledge and healing. And that's interesting, because you were saying the full moon is happening in their 12th house.
Yep.
Right? So big time Cancers of some sort of healing. And this is a big one to get, the snake. The snake is like transformation, healing, your power as well, even your boundaries and your strength. So there's a great healing for you that can happen with that full moon. Like Julie was saying, really good time to do self-work on yourself. And there can be some hidden knowledge coming forward for sure. And then this one also fell out, the hawk. So Cancers are having a lot of spirit animals around them right now. A little bit similar to, I think it was the Tauruses that got the owl. Maybe that was another sign.
Yes, Taurus.
Yeah, the Tauruses. So this is also omens and messages, not as intense as the owl, because the owl can be, is one of the most intense power animals. But the hawk is like seeing the higher perspective in things, not taking things personally, seeing things from above and watching for the omens and signs that are around you. So that's pretty magical. Full moon in the 12th house. That's going to be cool.
Love it. And Ellen is saying, hit the like button, show some love. Thank you, Ellen. Yes, do hit the like button if you do appreciate this content. We really appreciate your support as usual. Like Laura saying, birds flying everywhere. I love it. And birds are messengers. So I think we're going to have a lot of downloads, and especially for Cancers. Okay, let's now move on to Leo. And let me bring up my chart. So Leo, sun, moon, or rising?
Yeah, so this is funny because I was just talking to Julie about this before we went live for the Leo, sun, moon, and risings. So the new moon in Scorpio on November 13th is happening in your fourth house of Cancer. And personally, I know two Leo risings that I'm very close with that are both buying new properties right now. So
Wow.
that's going to be also around the time of, this new moon. So that's funny. Let us know in the comments if any of you Leo, sun, moon, or risings are also moving locations or trying to find a new home. If you haven't found it yet, you're probably going to find it around that new moon, or you could sign the documents around that new moon. So this is new beginnings and breakthroughs regarding your home, family, property, connection to your ancestors or ancestral homelands, and your emotions and emotional self. So this would be a good time to, whether you're moving and buying a home or renting a new home, to bring something new into your home environment, Leos, because this is a new moon. And Scorpio, new moon in Scorpio, is very much about spirituality, protection, strength, empowerment. So maybe bringing something into the home that feels protective or safe to you. I know there's a lot of crystals like that, or whatever it is that you feel to put in the home that resonates with you. It's a good time to bring fresh new energy, and also to do a cleanse, like energetically or actually physically, of your home as well with that new moon in Scorpio. And I think for some of you, this could even be investing in property, maybe, because Scorpio can be investing, fourth house can be properties, or investing in something that has to do with your family or family members, for example.
Such a
And
good, I just wanted to, sorry, Meg, to cut you off. Jenny's saying not new property, she's a Leo, but building up a mushroom farm on our land. So it could also be like adding up to your property, as you're saying, like investment property. That makes a lot of sense.
yeah, for sure, that makes sense. And the full moon in Gemini on November 27th is happening in your 11th house. So as we've been talking about, full moons are times of release and cleansing and things being illuminated to us. The 11th house is the house of Aquarius. So it's our friends, goals, higher dreams, aspirations, groups we're associated with, and like-minded community. So there could be actually a friendship that you have that's coming to a close, possibly. There could be people that you've associated with as friends, or even groups that you've associated with maybe coming to an end time or a close, if there's some that aren't resonating with you, to then allow for new ones to come forward. And your friends are being illuminated. So there could be something going on with a friend. This is a full moon. So there could be maybe some kind of crisis or challenge or release that a friend is going through, that you then have to be there for them. That could very much be happening for you, Leos. It would be a good time to work with this energy to reflect, journal, or meditate on what are your goals and aspirations. And I heard Spirit say to ask you guys, do you have a 5-year plan? So that's like very specific. Do
Okay.
you have a 5-year plan? So that's something, if it resonates with you, you can reflect on. Looking ahead, Aquarius is looking ahead to the future, and where do we want to be in 5 years? And of course, we're open to new things. We don't want to be like really stagnant and just manifest what we can see, but what are some of those things that are really important for you that you would like to have come forward within 5 years? Also, it's a good time to go to a community or like-minded event. There could be, as I said, a group that you walk away from and a new one that you join. And you have amazing astrology right now, Leo risings, in particular for work, career, and public reputation. So make sure that those you're surrounding yourself are, I was hearing Spirit say this, are what you want to be around, because what we surround ourselves with is what we become.
Mm.
So your career sector is on fire, Leo rising. So it is a time of doing hard work. This is like on a side note. And just being mindful who you're surrounding yourself with. Do they talk you up or do they talk you down? That's very important.
I love that. Yeah, that resonates a lot. Thank you, Meg, for that. Okay, now let's pull an oracle card. I'm filling this deck for for the Leos. So this is my Children of the Cosmos oracle deck. Let's see, Leos, November. The energies of November for Leos. Okay. We have discernment. Interesting. And it says on the card, we are learning to discern the truth from lies. So I'm feeling this energy kind of overall for all the zodiac signs, especially for the second part of the month. But I feel like there's a special message for Leos here. So not everything that will, let's say, come up in your life could be as it seems. So I think time is going to be a major factor for Leo rising. So let time pass and you're going to know the truth. And also don't take for granted that everybody have pure intentions, because that's also what discernment is all about. But for some reason, I'm kind of feeling that this discernment card is mostly for what's going to happen in the world, and not to take it, let's say, for face value. So this is the message for Leos. I'd like to pull another card because I'd like to know a little bit more about that for Leos. Let's see what we have. The cards are very secret. They don't want to come out. Okay. Okay. It's interesting that you were talking about this 5-year plan. So we have the North Node card about the future. So I feel like for Leos, and you were also talking about the 10th house energy with Jupiter and Uranus there, I'm feeling like Leos are doing very important thing right now that's going to affect their future. So that's why the discernment card was showing up, because we don't have time, and because I'm also Leo rising, we don't have time to be drawn into, let's say, psyops right now. We need to focus on our own future and progression. So that's why I think the discernment card was so important, to really also prioritize where you're going to invest your energy, who you're going to surround yourself with, because you need to focus on your mission and your future. So this 5-year plan seems to be very relevant. Okay. Yes. Tim is saying, oh, Jenny is saying, thank you, Meg and Julie. My 5-year plan includes astrology and mushrooms. I love that. Astro mycology. I really love that, Jenny. And Tim is saying, take it with a grain of salt, Julie. Yes, exactly. Ain't nobody got time for that, says like Laura. Exactly. Leos are on a mission.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. Now we're going to be talking about the Virgos. Virgos. Let me just share my chart with you guys. So let's switch to Virgo. Okay, so Virgo, sun, moon, or rising. Okay, so this new moon in Scorpio that's going to be on November 13th falls in your third house, Virgos. So the third house is all about communication, business projects, and projects in general. So I'm thinking of a new communication coming your way, either a new development in something that's already started, a new project, a new business idea, or just like a lot of movement in your projects in general with that Mars energy. So third house is everything also that we do on a daily basis, all the projects that we're working on. And Mars is going to push further, even faster with this new moon. That's opening up also something new or a new aspect to a project. And this opposition to Uranus, there's going to bring an unexpected element to this new chapter. So something unexpected might come up and give you some power and motivation, Mars, to take action on something. So I think that's a good place to have this new moon in the third house, but just be ready to probably be a lot busier than usual. The third house is usually like we're multitasking a lot with the third house. And then a more specific message for some, if you are in a legal or court situation, because it's the ninth house with Uranus being very directly aspecting this new moon, there could be an unexpected information that could be revealed, or giving you some more ammunition to fight even stronger with that Mars card there. So an information that's being revealed might help you to fight and being even stronger for that court case. Also, we have Neptune that's making a trine in your seventh house. So that's going to be a really good time to ask for help for in the form of other people. The seventh house is also your partners, your close friends, your relationships. So don't hesitate to ask for help if you do need guidance. It's also the seventh house. If you need anything, Neptune is in a supportive aspect in your seventh house for this new moon. And then on November 27, we have a full moon in Gemini, and that's going to be in your 10th house. So for Virgos, there's a form of a completion or rewards in your 10th house of career and recognition. For some, it could be reaching a higher level in your work, but because it's really harshly aspected, causing you to have a lot more responsibilities because it's making this T-square to Saturn, and possibly some tension also in your partnership and relationship. So as we said also for other signs, try to maybe let this one pass if it's bringing up a lot of conflicts, because we're going to have Sun and Mars conjuncting together in your 4th house, and it's all falling in angular houses. So Virgos are going to feel this full moon quite a lot. So just be ready to not, let's say, act on any trigger, but this could bring a lot of tension because you're going to have a lot of responsibilities, very likely. And also with that Saturn being the focus in your 7th house with partnerships, it could bring a lot of pressure on your relationships. Anyways, but that could be also positive, having, let's say, a lot more work to do because maybe you're doing well in that area. And that can also come up for some change in your work because it's a full moon. So some Virgos could be facing new responsibilities, a change in work and change of career. Maybe you're going to reorient yourself with new mission priorities in your work life. And also a change in your priorities, personal life versus professional life. That could put some more stress on you and your partner because of that full moon that's going to be in your 4th house, 10th house axis. So you'll have to reevaluate basically your priorities there. And most likely you'll have a lot to deal with at the same time because it's a T-square in your angular houses. So I think the key word for Virgos is prioritize. You'll feel like the universe is kind of testing you on how you can handle stress and pressure and everything falling on you at the same time. So just try to see it day by day and not seeing like as a mountain that's impossible to hike. Okay, just take it day by day, step by step, priority by priority for Virgos. What do we have for Virgos for the Oracle card, Meg?
Yeah, let's see what we have. Okay. Wow. Merlin.
Ooh.
Alchemy, justice, balance. For those of you who don't know, Merlin is like a master wizard from sacred England and Avalon, and this is a very powerful guide archetype to have. So Virgo, I'm hearing the word like self-mastery energy coming even more into your self-mastery. And that's interesting because you were saying that the full moon is happening in their 10th house.
Yep.
Right, Julie? So this is like, I'm hearing the word initiation, accomplishment, knowing what you're good at and really going ahead and forward with that, Virgos. Maybe there's been something, a certain kind of career that you've been doing up until now, but you know that you're really, really good at something. Like Merlin was really, really good at something. And now is the time to go forward and maybe start a new path. This is also paying attention to your spiritual connection and your spirit guides, because this is such a powerful spiritual card. So paying attention to your dreams, the synchronicities and signs around you. So, wow, that's cool.
I love it. And also, like, I don't know why I'm thinking about mastery when I see this card, which is also connecting with Virgo energy. Wow.
Yeah.
Very potent, powerful. I love it.
Very potent. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Meg. Let's now talk about the Libras. Let me change my chart here. Oops.
Yeah.
So Libra, sun, moon, or rising.
Cool. So first of all, Libras, on November 8th, Venus, which is your planetary ruler, enters Libra, you. So that's really good because you're going to have Venus, your ruler, not only in a home sign but in your sign, which is really really good. So you're going to be feeling good, Libras. You're going to start feeling better. I know for a lot of the Venus ruled people that are the Libra or Taurus's sun, moon, rising, the Venus retrograde that we had in the summer was very very intense for a lot of us. So when Venus enters Libra, that's going to be very nice starting on November 8th. And on November 13th, the new moon in Scorpio that we're going to have is happening in your second house. So this is exciting, Libras, because Venus, your ruler, is also finances and money and abundance. And this new moon in Scorpio, which Scorpio is on the financial axis, is happening in your second house of Taurus, which is Venus ruled, abundance, finances, values. So new beginnings and breakthroughs regarding your finances and your self-worth. I was feeling that strongly for you guys, and your relationship to abundance and the enjoyments of life. So there can definitely be an increase in income coming your way that you can manifest and create with this new moon if you believe in yourself. I was hearing that for you guys. So Libras, you guys are so beautiful. I love you, but sometimes you get very influenced by others around you because Libra rules others. So I think it would be good with this new moon, kind of similar to, I'm forgetting what the other sign was. I think it was Gemini's. I was telling the Gemini's as well, spend some time alone around this new moon to really get into your own energy field and not other people's projections, things they're throwing at you, everybody else's stuff, and feel into the areas of life that the second house rules and maybe some actions, because Mars is going to be conjunct this new moon, that you want to take. And I think this is a great time to make important purchases if you need to, Libras, and a great time for budgeting, financial manifestation and planning, meeting an accountant if you need to. And also you can do some self-care and self-pampering around this new moon because, Taurus is the enjoyments of life. And I was hearing Spirit say, how do you love yourself, Libras? And do you really love yourself? That's an interesting question.
Powerful.
Also, the full moon in Gemini on November 27th is happening in your 9th house. So you guys are really, I think, lucky Libras this month because you got the new moon in your 2nd house and then full moon in your 9th house, which is one of the lighter places to have a full moon happening. So 9th house of Sagittarius rules our beliefs, expansion, luck, foreign travel, foreign people, higher learning and higher consciousness, and publishing. So there could be beliefs that you are releasing at this time, Libras, that do not serve you anymore. And you can be receiving powerful spiritual and philosophical insights about yourself and life in general. Your spiritual growth is very highlighted and at the forefront with this new moon. Some of you may even be traveling or could be on a spiritual retreat or even visiting a sacred site. So a way that you can work with this full moon, and Julie and I have been talking about, it's a little intense. We're not going to lie to you guys. It's got challenging aspects to it. But for you Libras, being in your spiritual growth can be a really great way for you to work with it. And being open to some lucky things come up.
Why not? Wow. Okay, I pulled some cards and it really resonates with what you were saying for Libras. So I have the Trust Your Path card, which is totally 9th house type of thing. So I think this month for you is taking a lot more, let's say, a spiritual type of energy for you, Libras. And it's saying, if you knew you would be supported, what would you do? So it's kind of saying that you are supported on your path and trust your path. And the other card that I have is Vesta, and it says Hearth. So it's really talking about finding your spiritual center and aligning to your highest path possible. And for you, not for other people, as we were saying earlier. So I hope it resonates, Libra. And like Laura saying, Libras are getting ready to level up. Yes.
Mhm.
So these are really powerful cards. And the 9th house is also really spiritual and expansion like energy. So I think it's going to be very positive. All right, let's switch to Scorpios. And I'm going to bring up my chart. Whoop. Let's switch the sign to Scorpio. Here we are. So Scorpio, sun, moon, or rising. Well, you're going to be the star of the show for this new moon. This new moon is in your own sign in Scorpio, so it's going to be in your first house, conjuncting your traditional ruler, Mars. So lots of passion, energy, drive for Scorpios. I kind of really like this one for Scorpios. I think it's going to give you maybe the little oomph you were looking for to maybe do something different or to pursue a project, something. But for sure, you're going to have a lot of physical energy around this time, around the first, I would say, first part of November. And also, it could give you some new passionate start in relationship or starting a new passion project. So I feel like there's a lot of passion coming up for Scorpios. I really like that. So I feel like you're gonna feel a surge of new energies and motivation to express who you are because it's the first house, it's your sign, the Scorpios. Uh, so I feel like it's gonna give you this courage also, which is Mars and Scorpio, to really express even more your true self, your true identity, which I love for Scorpios. Okay, so Uranus for sure is in your seventh house, so it could give you some unexpected news or developments coming from a partner or some other people. Seventh house can be any type of other people, relationship surrounding you. So something coming out from the other people is going to, let's say, influence your life in some unexpected way, and you'll have to react quickly. So I think the best way to really channel this passion energy and this drive and this motivation that you're going to have is also try to convert it into creation energy. So if you are dealing with a lot of reactiveness, which is probably due to this opposition, try to create something and really try to focus and manage this energy into creation energy. And I feel like it could be very inspired, and it's probably the best way you will be able to channel this energy. Neptune in the fifth house is like super powerful for any new artistic creation or creation in general, and you'll have a lot of downloads there. So great new moon for Scorpio, quite intense, but I think Scorpio is kind of like that in some kind of way. So then November 27th, we'll have the full moon in Gemini, and that's going to be in your eighth house. So eighth house is also ruled by Scorpios. So for Scorpios, we'll have a very scorpionic type of month. So it's a full moon, so meaning it's a completion of a process. So I feel like some form of a transformation process is coming to an end for Scorpios, which is the eighth house. Also, it could be the end of a communication, the end of a healing journey, a specific healing journey that you've undertook quite a while ago. It could also be the end of a karmic relationship. I'm just going to try to mention everything I'm thinking of. So also this full moon is in your financial axis of second and eighth house. So you will probably be facing a lot of financial decisions, maybe your money versus your partner's money, which is the second and eighth house axis. And that's making a T-square to that, our friend Saturn, that's in your fifth house. So it's not so bad to have Saturn in your fifth house. It's probably one of the best placements. But definitely those are financial houses. So I'm thinking a lot of Scorpio will have to make financial decisions around the end of November. And because Saturn is such the big focus of this full moon, try to make realistic plans and be disciplined about your money. And like we were saying for Leos just a while earlier, try to have maybe not a 5-year plan, but try to have a couple-year plan maybe of where you see yourself, because you'll have all this energy with Mars in your first house to really have the drive to start new projects, start new endeavors, and really try to work with the energies of Saturn, which is to be disciplined, to think long-term for your future instead of going against it. So this is what I'm feeling, but overall, I'm thinking that Scorpios are going to be good at dealing with these energies. And especially because Scorpios are like the best sign to deal with crises, anything that's happening in the world, maybe on the financial level. Scorpios are really good to be in that mode of like, okay, what do we do? Let's act. Let's take an important decision now. So I think this is going to be a good month for Scorpio. Just be ready to channel all this lots of energy that you're going to have. Meg.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Lakeside Laura saying over 1,000 on Rumble. Oh, look at that. Thank you so much, Lakeside Laura.
Awesome. Yeah, so interesting. Can't make this stuff up. We got the partnership card. And Scorpio in astrology rules merging with others. And like you were saying, that full moon in Gemini is happening in our 8th house, right? So our partnerships, our merging with others is really highlighted. And maybe we're going to be, I'm feeling like our partners are really at the forefront. Like you were saying, Julie, with Uranus in the 7th house for Scorpios opposite the new moon, there could be something unexpected maybe happening with a partner where we need to be supportive of them. We need to be there for them, or there's more merging of resources in some sort of way, or just our relationships are highlighted, which is what Scorpio rules. But what's interesting about that is Scorpio can sometimes be scared to get close with people and really reveal themselves or share their resources even. So we also got the forgiveness card. So for Scorpios, this message that I'm always saying this is, be open to forgiving others, be open to being vulnerable with others, and maybe forgiveness towards yourself in relationships. There could be something that maybe we've done in relationships with this full moon being in our 8th house that we maybe have to take accountability of, or maybe ask for forgiveness of. I know that's like intense for me to say, but Scorpio is the most intense sign. So just being honest with yourself, what's going on with your relationship, Scorpio? Is there any forgiveness that needs to come up?
Wow, I love that. And Tim is saying Jan's book goes viral, so you'll have to make quick decisions. That could be great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I love this comment, Tim, because obviously it's not necessarily negative stuff coming your way. It could also be really positive stuff, but you'll have to, let's say, act quickly or decide quickly what you want to do with your plans. So love that. Okay, thank you so much for that. Let's switch to our next sign, which is Sagittarius. And I'm going to bring the wheel right here. So Sagittarius, sun, moon, or rising.
Yeah, so for the Saggies out there, happy birthday and solar return to all the November Sagittarians. This is, I think, really good month for you guys because we got the sun going into Sagittarius later on in the month, Mercury and Mars entering Sagittarius, as well as a full moon in your opposite sign of Gemini. So this is a very big month for you guys. The new moon in Scorpio on November 13th is happening in your 12th house of Pisces. So new beginnings and breakthroughs with the Pisces areas of life, your spirituality and intuition, your dream work, your healing, any behind the scenes work, your creative connection, being of service and volunteering. So the 12th house of Pisces rules being alone and solitude. And again, I keep saying this for some of the signs. It's good for you Sagittarians around the new moon to spend some time alone, maybe do some spiritual healing work, or go see a spiritual healer if there's something comes up for you that you feel like you need to work on. This is really big breakthroughs on the energetic and spiritual levels. And Pisces, the 12th house, rules past lives and really deep-seated issues that we've been dealing with. So with this new moon, it can be a moving forward from something that's been holding you back. Sagittarius is that maybe you haven't even been expressing out into the world because that energy of the 12th house is behind the scenes. So there's something that you can release yourself from, which is interesting. And you can be receiving very powerful intuitive downloads and insights with this being in your 12th house. And Neptune, the ruler of Pisces and the 12th house, is going to trine this new moon. So this is going to be very magical and creative time for you. So I would say to Sagittarians, be in your spirituality, do that self-healing work, do maybe some divination, whatever spiritual, magical, or creative things resonate with you, because you're totally in that vibration with this new moon. And the full moon in Gemini on November 27th is happening in your 7th house. So some of you Saggies are releasing love or business relationships that don't serve you anymore. And maybe that's triggering some of these things that you're going to be releasing that are deep-seated issues. So your committed relationships are highlighted. Important conversations can be had at this time with your committed relationships as well, because it is a full moon in Gemini after all. So conversations, sharing of ideas, communication. I think emotions are going to be very high for everyone. So Sagittarius, just paying attention in love or business that we're not over emotionally communicating or get into a big argument or something with someone at work, because there can be maybe tensions bubbling up, I'm feeling, in those areas. There could be a job that you're letting go of also, someone in business that you've committed to that you're letting go of. But I think there's a lot of beautiful energy brewing for Sagittarius this month. And be in your spiritual connection. I just feel that like so strongly for you guys, which you usually are. Sagittarians are usually very spiritually connected. There's information downloads that want to come through. So powerful time for you guys.
Wow, I love that. And I know a Sag that's working with us, Coco, who's also leaving a job behind. So I think it really resonates. Okay, let's pull an oracle card for Saggies for the month of November. And I just want to say, we have over 1,300 people watching live. So please give us a like if you do enjoy this content. We are trying to pull the very best predictions for all the zodiac signs for you. Okay. It says, I hope I'm going to pronounce this right, breath of the cosmos. So I feel like it really fits with, you were talking about this very spiritual energy that Sag are going to have and feel during the month of November. And it says, my will to thy will, micromanaging the universe. So I'm feeling like really understanding that what happens for you, Saggies, around the month of November is really a reflection of bigger things happening. So there's a lot of, I want to say, like destined things for Sag around the month of November. And really try to connect to your higher self, your guides, to really understand the purpose of everything that is happening. But I feel like a lot of downloads will be happening for you, and a lot of upgrading, spiritually speaking. So I feel like it's a big month for Saggies, but a really beautiful month. Thank you, Mara. She's saying, loving this astrology reading. So good. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Okay, let's move on to our next one, which is Capricorn. I'm going to change this right here, and let me bring up my chart. Capricorn. Here we go. So November 13th, new moon in Scorpio is going to fall in your 11th house. So right here. So a lot of Capricorn could be very passionate about an idea, about a social media research, or about community or some friends. So you have a lot of energy to really dive deeper into, let's say, your ideas you're interested about, I want to say. Also, I feel like there's a new start, a new motivation to pursue what you are being called to do. So you're gonna, let's say, open up a new chapter of what you're doing in a day-to-day life, but with a lot more, like a bigger perspective of what your mission is included in it. So I feel like the 11th house is also including some people around you that are going to resonate, be on the same wavelength, have the same long-term objectives, really understand like the philosophy behind what you are doing. So really make sure that you are surrounding yourself with people that are on the same wavelength, and I feel like you have a lot of drive and energy to pursue your long-term goals around this new moon in Scorpio. Also, because of that opposition with Uranus, something unexpected might happen and push you to express your truth in your friend circle or community, because the fifth house and the 11th house axis is all about authenticity. And I feel like Capricorns will be maybe pushed out of their comfort zone and be on the spotlight with their friends, and will probably have to explain a lot of what's going on and express themselves in a more authentic way with their friends, and not fear to not, let's say, be accepted by your friend circle or your community. So you have to really have this courage, authenticity to share your truth with the people around you. And I think that the result of that is going to be super positive, because we've got a trine to Neptune, which is in your third house of friends, of communication. So I feel like you're going to find really the best way possible to communicate that, and your friends will likely be supportive of your truth, but it's going to be like a test of how courageous you are to express yourself. And then November 27, we'll have a full moon in Gemini, and that's going to be in your sixth house. So this full moon will happen in your health axis, Capricorns. So first message for you is to really, really make sure that you are focused on having a healthy routine, which is the sixth house. That could also be the end of an unhealthy routine to replace it with a healthier one, because remember, this is making a T-square with Saturn, which is in your third house. So daily habits, you're probably going to learn about new information, and you're going to do things differently in your day-to-day life surrounding your health, most possibly. So really make sure that you are being attentive to the messages that your body's trying to send you. And also keep yourself disciplined and prioritize things, because the sixth house is kind of a tough house to have this full moon in. It's in the health axis, it's in the body. So you'll feel more vulnerable. So really make sure that you are putting yourself as a priority, yourself and your health as a priority. Also, for some Capricorns, it could be the end of a particular job, a particular task, or a routine of a health habit. So I feel a lot of Capricorns will probably juggle with a lot of projects at the same time. With that Saturn in the third house, it's going to make you very busy. So you'll have to really try to prioritize what comes first, and then don't forget your health and all of that, because of course this is in the health axis. And the other message I've got for Capricorns is limit your screen exposure, because Saturn is in your third house. Third house for me is media consumption, device. So really try to slow down on that. And I feel like it's going to make you a lot stronger with your immune system with the 6 and 12 axis. So that's what I have for Capricorns. Can we pull some cards?
Yes, for sure.
Let's do that.
Let's see what we get. Ooh, the Swan.
Oh,
Transformation and trusting the psychic gifts. Wow.
okay, that's powerful.
I feel like, yeah, the Swan is very powerful. The Swan is also beauty, like loving yourself, self-love, self-care, beauty. Swans are very graceful. You know, Capricorn, sorry, you guys, that my computer is moving a little bit. I have a little makeshift setup right now. You know, swans are very graceful and in the moment and in their beauty and enjoying life. They feel very like Taurus to me. And Capricorns can be very, into their goals and working hard and being even a workaholic and really in their responsibilities, that sometimes they don't do enough self-care and self-love and loving themselves and just enjoying the moment. So I feel like what you were saying, Julie, with particularly the full moon in their sixth house, pay attention to how you're feeling and your body and your emotions, and maybe don't push it too hard with that time frame, and be gentle with yourself, be loving with yourself, and allow your psychic gifts, because the swan is also psychic gifts,
Mm.
to open up if you're feeling drawn to that.
I love that. It makes so much sense for Capricorns because they're undergoing with that full moon and the health axis like an upgrade. So I'm really feeling that. Like, and sometimes when we're sick, it's because we're purging something in order to upgrade physically, spiritually. And I feel like with the Swan card, this is what's happening with the Capricorns.
Yeah.
So love that. Mara Samuel is
Very
saying, love the Swan card. So need this as a Cap Taurus. Love it.
Mm.
All right. So let's switch to Aquarius. And I'm going to bring my chart on the screen. So Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising.
Okay, so first of all, for Aquarius, your traditional planetary ruler, which is Saturn, is going to go direct on November 4th. So that's going to be good for you guys. We're not going to have Saturn retrograde. That's going to be really good for all of us, but particularly for the Capricorns ruled by Saturn, and the Aquarians traditionally ruled by Saturn. You're going to feel probably better physically, emotionally, mentally, on every level. So that's really good. Things moving forward easier. The new moon in Scorpio on November 13th is happening in your 10th house, Aquarius. So this is interesting. Saturn going direct, new moon in the 10th house of Saturn, Capricorn. New beginnings and breakthroughs with the Capricorn areas of life. So this is your career and public reputation and authority figures as well. So new career advancements for many of you, Aquarian, Sun, Moon, and Risings, and you are being seen. So I was feeling earlier when I was preparing my notes, like, do you know that you're being seen? I was hearing Spirit say to you guys, do you know that you're being seen for what you do? And how do you want to be seen? Are you happy with how you're being seen publicly? Or is there something else you'd like to be known for? You'd like to incorporate? This is a really good time, this new moon, to set long-term professional goals, because Saturn in the 10th house is not just, this is what I want a month from now. This is what I want next week. It's, this is what I want, a year from now. And now I'm going to start putting the work in and I'm going to make it happen. And this is my goal. And this is how I'm going to do it. So taking action, because the Mars is conjunct this new moon, in the areas of your career, but also I think setting some goals would be good too. And some of you, similar to a couple of the other signs, may be starting spiritual or creative or healing arts careers, because this is your 10th house activated with Neptune trine this moon for you guys. So some of you who know you have healing gifts or creative gifts or spiritual gifts, you could be stepping more into that. And definitely expect the unexpected with this new moon, because Uranus, your modern day ruler, is going to be opposite the new moon. So there could be something really unexpected. And even though it's an opposition, I feel like something fun or a new opportunity coming forward. So be open to new opportunities and very possible fast work changes happening. And with the full moon in Gemini, this is going to be happening in your 5th house on November 27th. And the 5th house rules Leo areas of life. So romance, our sense of fun, creativity, children, birthing new projects, and confidence. Some of you may be ending love affairs that don't serve you anymore. I know that Aquarians like to experiment sometimes and just have fun when it comes to romance. Not all of you, but many of you are like that, just kind of being like, okay, I'll just maybe seeing multiple people at the same time. Who knows with you Aquarians, but it's a time where there could be an ending to some love affairs that maybe just aren't serving you anymore. But at the same time, it is important for you to have fun and be in the vibration of play and celebration with this full moon. You will be feeling more creative and passionate for sure. So that's very, very positive. And this full moon in your 5th house is illuminating, what do you love and desire? What makes your inner child sing, and what do you love to do? And are you doing any of those things, right? You could be receiving attention and rewards from a project that you've already put out into the world as well.
Oops, sorry, I was muted. I love that. So lots to talk about with our friends, the Aquarians. And thank you so much, Grow, for your donation. Really appreciate it. Okay, I pulled 2 cards. So for Aquarians for the month of November, so the first one I have is Akasha. Your guidance is divinely guided. So with that card, and especially the first new moon that's going to oppose your planet Uranus, I'm feeling like Aquarians are going to get a lot of guidance and downloads, maybe through dreams, or just like you're going to know something, a sudden download is going to happen and you're going to get guidance about your future. So
Mm.
I feel like Aquarians are going to be even more connected than usual with their guides, their higher selves, and are getting a lot of messages for the month of November, which I love. And the other card that I've got is Jupiter, abundance. And
Mm.
Jupiter right now for Aquarians is in their 4th house. So I'm feeling like a lot of gifts and surprises, and especially regarding home and family, is probably going to be around the corner for you, Aquarius. So I love those cards. Hope you resonate with the messages. Let us know if you do. All right. So I just read a comment over here, Pamela, saying that she didn't see us pull cards for Libras. So I might have forgotten, and I apologize.
I
Meg,
think you did.
I did?
Didn't you?
I don't know.
I'm not totally sure, but
Can we
I
pull
think
another extra card just in case we didn't?
sure. Okay.
While I change the wheel for the last sign.
Yeah. Okay. So extra card for the Libra or a card for the Libras. Julie, Pamela says, Julie, you did, but Meg didn't. So, okay.
But it's normal because we alternate, but it's okay.
Yeah,
We'll
we
pull an
alternate.
extra one.
Yeah, we'll pull an extra one. So the frog, this is cleansing. Cleaning house, cleansing yourself, releasing emotional baggage, Libra, which makes total sense for you guys because you can really hold on to other people's things, other people's projections being put onto you. So I love the frog. Cleaning your house, cleaning yourself, doing a deep clean, doing a cleanse, going on a spa day or something, which I talked about when I was talking about the Libras. Yeah, there's releasing of emotional baggage for others, definitely. And the frog is a great sign of purification. So that's
Love
nice.
Yeah, North Coast US and the Rumble chat is saying you pulled the Merlin card. So yes, we did. Okay, we're not crazy. But thank you for that extra card. Apparently Libras needed a second one with the frog
Yeah.
card. So I love that message. Thank you, Meg. Let's now talk about our friend the Pisces. And of course, you can listen if you have Pisces sun, moon, or rising, or even friends that are sun, moon, or rising in Pisces. Okay, well, first of all, before we talk about the moons, Saturn is now direct as of November 4th. So you're going to feel this Saturn energy moving direct a lot because it's in your sign, it's in your first house, and it's at 0 degree for a long time, which is like emphasizes the Pisces archetype. So meaning that you'll have to work really carefully with the planet Saturn. And sometime, let's say on the negative side of things, it can be a bubble buster for a lot of Pisces. So you can be in your fantasies, in your dreams, and Saturn is here to bring you a hard, cold reality check. But if you do work in the same sense with Saturn, which is to think long term, to build for the long term, to be more disciplined, to have a routine, to think about, to be more realistic regarding material things, then I feel like a lot of Pisces could reap the rewards of working in the same sense with that Saturnian energy. So first, we'll have the new moon in Scorpio on November 13th. That's going to be in your 9th house. So I feel like a lot of Pisces will come across new information and start digging a whole new rabbit hole. So that's kind of what I was feeling for a lot of Pisces. So you're going to feel very motivated and passionate about diving deep into something new, a new conspiracy, a new learning skill. Or you can start teaching something. But like my intuitive hit was that you will discover something that would lead you to another thing, and then you're gonna be like, whoa, this is a cool new rabbit hole. It could also be a new spiritual practice, and it is great with that Mars energy in your ninth house. Great for an active type of practice like yoga, like martial arts, anything that involves spirituality and being active will be really great for you, Pisces. To also really channel this strong Pisces energies that you have in your first house, which is the body and also your intuition. So try to channel it in an active way, especially for the first part of November. You'll have lots of spiritual creation energy to tap into. And because we have this opposition with Uranus in your third house, so you're going to come across some really shocking or surprising new information. And whatever comes your way around that time, try to see the bigger picture because of the ninth house influence. Try to see with a spiritual practice why this is coming up at this time, and you'll understand a lot, I feel. And Pisces are usually intuitively very strong, and you have a very, very strong connection to source and your guides. So really try to tap into that for the month of November. And then November 27th, we'll have a full moon in Gemini. That's going to be in your fourth house. And I feel like Pisces are probably going to be the most affected by this full moon because it's going to activate even more this Saturn that's almost on your ascendant in your sign. So I feel like a lot of Pisces could feel like they're being tested by the universe to see if you understood some past karmic lessons and if you are ready indeed to move beyond those lessons. So Saturn is the planet of repetition and karma. So you could feel like you're facing similar situation over and over again and you're unable to move past those. But I feel like this full moon is going to be like the ultimate test of seeing like, have you learned those lessons and are you ready to move past those lessons to really upgrade to a whole new level? A completion also in your home and family sector could be taking place. There will likely be a lot of energy in your professional life. And because we'll have then the sun in Mars, that's going to be in your 10th house. So lots of energy for career and maybe a change of balance regarding your personal versus professional life. So you'll have to rebalance it all and try to be disciplined, focused, try to have a healthy routine for yourself. And your ruler, Neptune, will make an exact square to Mercury for this full moon, which is also the ruler of Mercury is the ruler of the full moon. So Neptune is going to be right here in your first house, in your sign, full strength, and making a square to Mercury in your 10th house. So just around the time of this full moon, just watch out for potential, let's say, illusions, missing information. Wait till you have all the information to make any important decision, and just be aware that you could not have the full picture just yet around this full moon because of that square. So Neptune is usually something that's being still hidden from you. So just be wary of that, and then try to really use this Pisces energy because it is your energy. So this connect to your higher self and to your intuition, and I feel like you could have a good month overall. But it's, of course, a lot of let's say challenges because of that full moon, well, for everybody. Meg, what can we see for the oracle cards for Pisces?
For magical Pisces, let's see.
Oh.
Okay, I'm feeling to pull two. Wow. Okay, this is very cool. We got the High Priestess, discernment. What's that word? Prescience? Is that a typo? I don't know what that word is starting with the P. But discernment, prescience, prophecy, vision. So Pisces are kind of like, in my opinion, natural high priestesses or mystics even. So you guys are so magical. I feel like this is a message of remembering your power, because dragons are empowerment. That was the other card I pulled for you, power and strength, the dragons. with Neptune being in the final degrees of Pisces, which is really intense, and Saturn being at Pisces in a critical degree, which can be quite heavy and even challenging for some of the Pisces, remembering that even though it can feel a little bit challenging and heavy, your sensitivity is your superpower. You have that over any other sign. So even though that's challenging to be that way, and I feel like it can be challenging to be a Pisces because of how much they're connected to the other side, which is a gift, knowing that that is a superpower. And
Mm.
it's what you want to do with that. Do you want to express that through spirituality, like the High Priestess, or creativity, or healing art, or doing something behind the scenes? Or do we want to not be in the empowerment of that? Because you guys are the natural healers and mystics and all of those Piscean things. So it's actually a beautiful gift to be a Pisces. And you guys are going through a big initiation right now. The dragon, initiation, power, strength. So don't forget how beautiful you are and magical you guys truly are, because I think the Pisces are really feeling it right now.
Yeah.
Sun, moon, and rising.
But those cards make a lot of sense. Like
Yeah.
taking this specific quality of yours to really turn it into your biggest strength, because it is. And Linda and some people have answered that prescience is indeed a word. Foreknowledge of events, a divine omniscience, human anticipation of the course of events, foresight. So thank you guys for educating us on what prescience means. I wasn't aware of that, so thank you. All right. So, well, it really fits with the High Priestess card that we pulled for Pisces. And Tim is saying, Pisces, I know, have a lot of prescience. I don't know if I'm going to be able to add it to my vocabulary, but I love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. So, what do you say? Let's give away 2 candles, one for the YouTube channels and one from the Rumble chat. So we'll start with the YouTube channels. Do you have a question for the candle winner? And then we'll ask another one.
Yes. So what day is Saturn stationing direct?
Good one. So we'll start by the YouTube and then we'll ask another question for the Rumble. I'll wait for the answers to populate. So what day is Saturn? Okay, we have a winner. So MW1111, please send us an email. You can find it on maisonjupiter.com website. And just put in the object of the email, fire candle. You are our winner. Congrats. Thank you so much for participating. So yes, November 4th, indeed, Saturn is turning direct. And then I'll bring the Rumble chat and we'll have another question just for you guys. Do you have another one in mind, Meg? My brain is kind of fried.
What sun season are we in right now?
Oh, that's a good one. Let's see.
For everyone in Rumble.
So Rumble, let's see. Okay. So Carolyn, right here, you are our winner. I'm going to try it. Carolyn Soul 1, you are the winner. Yes, it is Scorpio season. Thank you so much. So please send us an email and we'll make sure to send you the beautiful fire candle from Elena. Carolyn Soul, congrats. Thank you so much for participating in our little contest at the end. And thank you for sticking with us until the end. I know it's a long one, but we put a lot of love and energy into those predictions. So hope you appreciate them. And I did see a comment of someone is like, I thought it was going to be more positive. Well, we always try to uplift as much as we can, but also I feel like as astrologer, we have what's the word?
A duty.
A duty, thank you. That's exactly the word. To be honest and realistic about the energies. And if there are a lot of squares in opposition, like in the last full moon, like saying that it's going to be easy, I think is a disservice to all of you. So of
Mhm.
course, we're going to give you other ways you can try to work with the energies in the most easiest possible way. But we do try to stay as grounded and honest as possible. So thank you, guys, for the beautiful comments that we received. And yeah, reality is more important than lies and false positivity. Thank you, Linda. Appreciate that. Yeah. And lastly, if you would like to join us this Friday, you can. I'm just going to try to put the right image. You can join us, of course, on the Astrology Foundations. We're going to be live this Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Both Meg and I are going to be talking about all the Gemini placements, so all the planets in the sign of Gemini, what the archetype means, and also if you have placements in your third house in your birth chart. And we're going to have a lot of fun as usual. So if you'd like to join us over here, that's on beyondmystic.academy. It's not too late to register. You can watch all the classes at your own pace. And lastly, before we go, I also wanted to bring up, let's see if I can find the right image right here. If you'd like to book a one-on-one consultation with Meg, because of course those were general predictions, but if you'd like to get more personalized predictions with your own personal birth chart, which is unique, you can book with Meg on maisonjupiter.com. And of course, don't forget to enter Beyond Mystic in one word to get 10% off your next reading. And you have an idea when you have the nearest openings, Meg, for the consultations?
It'd be in December as of right now.
Okay, so December is kind of the perfect time to look at the year ahead for 2024. And especially if you have a birthday coming up for December, if you are a Sagittarius or a late Scorpio. So perfect time to do a solar return also appointment. So that's going to be on maisonjupiter.com. Thank you so much, Meg. Oh my God, we did it. That was a long
You did
one.
it.
So I hope you guys appreciated it. Thank you, Meg. Really
It
appreciate
was
that.
fun. Thank you.
And thank you guys for your beautiful comments as usual. We really appreciate the love. And we couldn't do this without your beautiful comments. So thank you so much for all the love. And we will see you very soon. I think we have an Astro Decode
Next week.
next week. Yes, next
Yeah.
Wednesday. I was looking at my agenda at the same time. So next Wednesday, we'll see you for the Astrology Code, and we're going to be talking about the 2024 predictions. So you don't want to miss this one. It's going to be a big one. So stay tuned until next week, and see you this Friday if you are taking the astrology course. Thank you so much, Meg, and thank you everybody for watching. Au revoir, and have a beautiful rest of your day.
Bye.